I am now officially declaring that Tuesday, January the 20th, the year 2009, the proposed inauguration date for Barack Hussein Obama will be the day of the Joker, for it will be the biggest joke in international and planetary history. On that day, some 435 congressmen in the House of Representatives and 100 senators in the U.S. Senate, a total of 535, all 9 justices that make up our executive U.S. Supreme Court, and every political leader across America, governor, alderman, state legislator in America, not to mention all of the dignitaries that will be seated in the stands on the Capitol building on Inauguration Day, perhaps both President Bush, maybe Jimmy Carter, President Clinton, Nancy Pelosi, Harry Reid, Charles Rangel, John Conyers, just a host of dignitaries and political leaders that will be seated in the stand. What these people will all have in common is that they will know that there's more than credible, far beyond simply reasonable doubt evidence that Barack Hussein Obama is an illegal alien and therefore is ineligible to take the pledge or to be inaugurated in as the President of the United States. There is more evidence that has been made known to some 70 million Americans, including all of its leaders, governors, aldermen, and legislators across America. There's more evidence to demonstrate that Barack Hussein Obama is not a natural-born citizen. More evidence than was presented in the Nixon-Watergate hearing. More evidence against Barack Hussein Obama that is common knowledge among the man on the street than has been presented against Rod Blagojevich, the governor of Illinois. More evidence that Barack Hussein Obama and all of these people know it, that we've just outlined, and will sit there on Inauguration Day and say not a word. There's more evidence against Barack Hussein Obama not being an eligible person to receive the presidency of the United States than was brought against Bill Clinton in the Monica Lewinsky issue. This is the most hypocritical act of America. This January 20th, 2009 will be a joke. I have declared it the day of the Joker. All of this evidence that I've just outlined can be documented. Now, I wish to state that we need, as Americans, we the people, need to begin to rise up and demand that our government will be free of the kind of corruption, the kind of deceit, lies, and murder that has been the mainstay and the order of the day, and no one is speaking out against it. Case in point, John Fitzgerald Kennedy and his brother Robert Patrick Kennedy were both alleged to have been in a sexual intercourse relationship with the famed movie star Marilyn Monroe. After this information became public, shortly thereafter she was found dead after had just been seen that day or the night after in good spirits and in good health. Ted Kennedy, the brother of John and Robert Kennedy, it is alleged that he was involved with a young woman named Mary Jo Kopechne, who was also killed in an automobile accident that he claims that he could not save her. He swam to safety. She died there in that automobile accident. So you got Ted Kennedy, you got Robert Kennedy, you got John Kennedy, and their girlfriends die. These are our leaders. America, we're going to have to look very closely at this usurper called Barack Hussein Obama. Our nation suffered greatly from the activities of John Kennedy and Robert Kennedy, both having sexual intercourse, allegedly, with Marilyn Monroe. And you will remember that both of these men were shot dead in the head, execution style. Now, many people feel that justice was meted out to O.J. Simpson for the death of Nicole Brown Simpson and Ron Goldman, even though it was some years later and the charges were robbery. But John Kennedy, Robert Kennedy, very affectionate and very respected by Americans, but all Americans knew that they were involved in sexual intercourse with Marilyn Monroe, 2 brothers sleeping with the same woman, and then Ted Kennedy. Then the Vietnam War was also a part of the problem of John Fitzgerald Kennedy. Had there not been the assassination of John Kennedy, whatever prompted it, whether it was spiritual justice, whether it was righteousness, whatever it was that prompted both the death of these men, Robert and John Kennedy, the Vietnam War was able to escalate as a result of that. We are allowing ourselves as American citizens to accept any kind of corrupt, murderous leader, and there's a conspiracy of silence whereby no one is raising their voices and speaking out against these men in high and influential places. Vince Foster and Monica Lewinsky are the spiritual results of Vince Foster's death and Monica Lewinsky under the Clinton administration. The spiritual result of that is 9/11 and the USS Cole. Had it not been for Bill Clinton trying to defend himself from impeachment proceedings with his involvement in Monica Lewinsky, the USS Cole and the 9/11 would not have ever taken place. The Islamics were able to grow. They were able to have their training camps in Afghanistan because America was involved in the impeachment hearings of Bill Clinton, his involvement with Monica Lewinsky. There has not been full allegations regarding Vince Foster. Listen, my friends, on January 20th, the year 2009, at high noon, these dignitaries, the Kennedys, the Bushes, the Clintons, and Nancy Pelosi, Harry Reid, nearly every noted dignitary will be seated in the stands on January 20th. Nearly every political leader across America, including the 435 senators and 435 congressmen and 100 senators, and more than 70 million Americans, including the 9 justices of the U.S. Supreme Court, with Chief Justice Roberts himself, will be asking Barack Hussein Obama to place his hand on the Bible and defend the U.S. Constitution when he himself is perhaps the biggest offender of the U.S. Constitution, and everybody in America knows it. What are we allowing to happen to our nation? We have got to take our nation and the reins of our government back from the hands of these murderers, these lies, and these thieves. And who knows what happened to Donald Young and 2 other homosexual men that were part of the church that Barack Hussein Obama attended while in Chicago, Illinois. Listen, if you drum Nixon out of the White House for a break-in at the Watergate office, and yet you're going to allow Barack Hussein, on circumstantial evidence, however, if you're going to let Barack Hussein Obama take the oath of office when nearly at least 70 million men and women on the street of America, and every political leader in our nation knows that that there is a big question about his citizenship. America, we should not do this. This is a joke. We have no more integrity. It is very sad, but we cannot depend upon the U.S. Supreme Court to mete out justice, and we cannot depend upon politicians to act in a way that's integral. There's been too many people murdered by presidents. There have been too many people who have gotten close, such as girlfriends and associates with presidents. They have been murdered by presidents, and no one has opened a credible investigation. It must stop, and it must stop now. We can be better and greater than this. We don't have to have murderers leading our nation. We don't have to have it. We don't have to have men who murder their girlfriends to keep them silent. We don't have to have that. We don't have to have a group and a nest of liars in the Congress and in the Senate and on the judgeships and in American politics so entangled in their own lies and mischief and criminal and felonious activities that no one is brave enough to stand up and say anything against any other major criminal incident, such as this joker, Barack Hussein Obama, who is saying to be sworn in to uphold a constitution that he himself is already violating and has been violating for months. That is the Manning Report. I officially declare January 20th, the year 2009, as the day of the Joker.